Greetings, welcome to day 94 of projectDIG. Thank you for joining. projectDIG is a 2D multiplayer automation survival sandbox game that I'm developing entirely here on Twitch and uploading all of the VODs to YouTube. We are just finishing the particle system, and now we're going to start looking into some camera support just so we can move the viewport around, be able to see some other things on screen. And then after that, I think we'll jump into or back into physics, I believe. We will see. I just finished the recap videos. We're done with that. Welcome, Cooler and Stevoid and Monk and Devil Lime. Thank you guys for joining. And anyone else, everyone else. So yes, camera. So let's kind of just look at what we want to do with the camera and how we want to go about doing that. I don't think that'll take too long. So I actually already world component started the camera kind of, and by started I mean I made a world component which is called camera, and it contains the viewport. So that way, what I'm thinking we can do, and I think this is good, is that we have some tabs in here. Let's get rid of those. Is that we can have systems manipulate the viewport, do whatever they want, and then we can just, use this as the viewport. So like whatever, if we want to have maybe a system that allows us to attach the camera to an entity, that would be really easy to do. All we just say is, hey, set the camera viewport x coordinates to the center of the entity, and that would be all we need for this. We could do that with the mouse. We could have a system that's just watching the input that says, hey, whenever you press, let's say we wanted the arrow keys. So we say, hey, whenever you press one of the arrow keys, move the viewport in that direction. And another thing I'm not sure about, and this might change in the future, is maybe what we actually want is the position, and then the size or the zoom level. This might change. I could see it changing where we don't really want to know the actual size of the window. I think that probably makes sense. We don't really care if the game resolution is 800 by 600 or 1920 by 1080 or whatever. What we probably really care about with the camera is the zoom level. Are we zoomed in? Are we zoomed in 2x or 0.5x, whatever? And then that would change things with the resolution. So the camera doesn't know anything about the actual rendering. I think that makes sense. And yeah, I do think though maybe that, let me see, whenever we are messing with the viewports, so I think I started to mess with this some. Yeah, so here we say if the camera viewport contains this bound. So that is important. So maybe we do care about the viewport bounds now that I think about it, because we do care, like we want to see what's on screen. We actually used something like that a lot. Like, yeah, for pretty much anything that we're rendering, we only want to render if it's on screen. And so we're using the viewport, the entire viewport, to discern that. Yeah. Okay, so I could see that. Maybe we could have like a system that is handling like the scaling or something, and it will determine, you know, it gets the rendering or the resolution for the game, and kind of determines what the viewport size should be based off of that. I could see that working. But then this could also be used for lots of other things. Like, let's say we wanted to have it like tween from one position to another. We could easily do that with this. So we could say, hey, move the camera from here to here. We could even, I would like to at some point add in support for tweening. Andrew and I were talking about that, where we could say, hey, let's have the, like, we could pass in some arbitrary component or something. I don't know exactly how we're going to achieve that yet, but we could just say, hey, take this vector or this rectangle and tween these coordinates or these values. You know, maybe it could just be like just values, where we could say, hey, tween to this. And we could have it follow some graph where it's like, you know, quadratic, or, you know, with a bounce or whatever. And so we can get some nice effects going with the camera movement instead of having it be rigid. Yeah. The most basic thing though is just like probably having it be attached to an entity, so we could say, hey, attach the camera to the player, done. That's how most games will do it. For platformers, sometimes you want something a little bit more. Maybe we want to also support like zooming in and out. But for right now, like the initial goal here is, let's just get it so that our camera can move, period. So I did start adding in this concept of camera, which is good, and we need to go back through, I think, pretty much like everything and kind of update it. I started to do some of this, and then I bailed because I realized there was going to be more work. And this was in the middle of the particle system work. Okay, so yeah, we have a lot of instances where we just say 800, 600, so that's the resolution size that's kind of built into all of this, and I want to take that out as much as possible. We have our render system now is taking a size, and this is the resolution that we want it to be using. And so I kind of got this working. So if we go switch over to here, kind of. So if let's say we have 1024 by 768. We'll see it's larger, but it actually doesn't render everything, and that's because I need to update that. What I will probably do for right now, I wonder, maybe what I should do, is there a way to get the resolution from, I think what we likely want to do is, for the render system, set up a way to get the resolution. Here's our size. I was looking to see if there's like a nice way to get that. Oh, I totally changed the wrong one. Sorry. We need to go to game.cpp. That's for the particle editor. Okay. Okay, so now we can see that this is all being rendered, but this stuff over here is not. So if I think it was P. Wait, which? I guess I got rid of it or something. But anyways, you can see it doesn't render anything beyond that. So we need to, and that's because it's been cut off. So I think probably one of the first things we want to do, I would say, is start with probably just go into here and have a get size. One question I have, is, are we able to get the size from like SDL, get window info? I think it'd be easier if we just stored the size. Let's do that. Pixel vector size. Yeah, so that's the window size. Oops. Okay. Under system, get size, return size, and then up here, when we're setting it up, we will, oh, whoops, that's not a constructor. We can get rid of those. That's remnants of some other stuff. Okay. It's STL get window size. Oh wait, there is a get window size, huh? Window. Oops. Get window size. Aha. Nice. I wonder if we actually want to use that. I guess it would mean that we wouldn't have to keep that updated. Might be worth it. Hey, Arstat, what's up? Yeah, I wonder if we actually want that. Because I want it to be a... Yeah, I think I'd rather just have it be this... pixel vector that we're storing locally, just because we're going to be accessing it, I think, fairly often. Maybe not, but I think it's worth a slightly extra memory to not have to be creating a new pixel vector every single time we request the size. I think this is fine. And so then now what we can do is down here somewhere. It probably will actually put it closer to the world. Like maybe right here. We want to say world, get world. So this is getting our camera component. And what we want to do is set the size to be the size of the render system get size. So that way it's set up properly. And that will keep all, so that means that we should only have exactly one place that we have our resolution. So everywhere else, we need to get rid of it. So like even here, I think we should put it to 0, 0. So if it doesn't get initialized, I guess that means that we can get rid of this technically. I think that's okay. So anywhere that we're using viewport, we should replace with the camera. Render. One sec. Let's just grab the camera from here. We can copy and paste it around, and so that means we can just say camera.viewport, camera.viewport. Same here. Camera. And is that it? I think that's it here. That is fine. Get camera viewport into 2 layers. So that has changed. So yeah, originally, I don't know, I was thinking about doing something else. Here we go. This is much better. This does mean that I need to make sure that our scheduler is reporting that we are using this. Oh, it reads world. We're gonna have a lot of readers on a camera. So let's see, this is camera viewport. This is a little weird, is that I'm passing in the viewport for this rendered layers. I don't know how necessary that is. Rendered layer. Like, why do we have a viewport for the render layer? I don't know if that's really necessary. That's something to think about. We might end up just getting rid of that entirely. For now, though, I will do this. So these are very similar. This is for the spine, and this is for the entity. So this is like normal render component, and this is the spine render component stuff. Move entities data clear else somewhere else. Oh yeah. Okay, we got that one. We need this. Say we are using the camera viewport. Camera viewport, and I think that's it. But yeah, I think we might be able to get rid of the camera viewport from the render layer. I think. The question is, like, would we ever want a render layer to have a different viewport from the other stuff? I don't know why we would. I guess if we ever wanted to support something like split screen, then it would make sense. I think so. Okay, let's just keep going. Yeah, all of our draws do this. Oops. Pretty much all of our draws are wanting to only draw stuff that's on screen, and so we use the camera viewport. You know, now that I think about it, let me look at something. Because we have, yeah, you know, this is actually wrong. I think we need to go to our draw function. So this is going to be kind of a pain, but we really should be, where's that at? Where's our rendered layer being defined at? There it is. Yeah, if we're going to give this a viewport, then the render layer draw function, here we go. This is what I was looking for. This should take, so this should be taking the camera as well, which is a pixel rect. And so we should be passing in the viewport. So whenever this gets called, which is inside of render system, this should be giving us the viewport. We even get the viewport here. We pass the viewport. Yeah, so where's that at? Submit layer, draw. Here we go. Right here, this draw function. We just want to say, hey, this is the viewport as well. Why do I... Viewport equals viewport. Oh. I see. So that's the current viewport. Wait, do I really need to do it like that? Submit layer, I see. Right, interesting. So we have our render layers, which can share the same layer index. And what we do is that why do we... Why are we storing the viewport? I don't get that, actually. We get the first one. And we say if it's not the same... Oh, I see. So it's the previous one. I see. So this is the previous viewport. That's the problem. Right. So what we're doing is we'll say, hey, yeah, that actually would be this. This like just doesn't work with that, huh? So imagine that we have these render layers, and so render, like how this whole system is working is that we have throughout the frame a bunch of render layers are being submitted to the render system, or they're being added to our render layers component, which is a world component. And then whenever we decide to render, we sort them by their index, and then we try to render them. And the we are trying to batch them together. It seems, yeah, we try to batch them together. So if they're on the same index, we'll try to batch them together, which I guess is okay. But the problem is if we ever did want to have split screen, this would be an issue because we could potentially have two different viewports, and that just doesn't work. Yeah, this doesn't work with split screen whatsoever. Then the question is, why are we even adding in the viewport? I could see us still wanting to pass in the viewport just because that's much more convenient. We pretty much always want it. So what we could do, yeah, I don't think we want the viewport anymore. And if we ever did change our mind, then we could change it here as long as we're passing in the viewport to the layer. So let's do that. Let's get rid of the viewport from our render layer. And what we will do instead is get the viewport. I guess we only need it in here, huh? So maybe we'll do it like this. Say world, get world, camera component, get viewport, get word. Here's our viewport, and that's it. And we pass it to those, and now we are not, yeah. So then we'll go to our render layer data, which is our render layer, and just get rid of the viewport from that. Which does mean that all of the places that we're submitting the rendered layer needs to be updated, since it's now all wrong. And then also all the places that we have our draw function needs to be updated as well, because it now is taking a pixel rect viewport. Probably the easiest way to do this is to just do a find and replace, right? We should have like a bunch of places here. Yeah. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna find and replace. Just say, hey, this now should become a const pixel rect ref viewport. Viewport. Replace all. Great. We probably missed like one or two, but we'll get to it. And then all instances of this need to be updated because we're no longer passing in this get camera viewport. That should be good. And then another thing we can do is all the places that were getting the camera, such as here, we don't need to anymore. And we can actually get rid of the camera mention entirely because we are now just passing in the viewport. So that's good. There's a viewport. This actually doesn't look like it's looking at our viewport. Okay. Hey, welcome everyone who has joined. Thanks for being interested in what I'm working on. If you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. Pushback. Cannot convert from initializer list. What's wrong with this? Why do I do this? Class public. Let's make that be a struct. Render layer. It's right there. Hey, Eklund. Oh, it doesn't like this function. Oh, right. It's because this needs to be updated to pixel rect viewport. I guess I shouldn't have included the name of the function inside of the define replace. It's okay. Easily remedied. Hey Dallas, what's up? How are you doing today? Oh, yes. Need to pass that in. Living and breathing. Nice. That's good to hear. I guess you wouldn't be telling me otherwise, right? Okay. All right. Making some progress here. Let's look for more places where we might mention 800 by 600. Yes, set position with default. Right, I remember looking at that. I don't know what I want to do with that. We'll look at that later. Submit layer. That's the camera viewport, right? So I should just change this to be just that. Get our camera, replace both of these. Camera, viewport. Oh dang, I don't have the world here. Where's this being called? Draw, UI manager draw. It must be in game dots, maybe. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Just started learning Java in school and thought I'd check out some coding. This seems complicated. Yeah, it is. It is. I wonder if we could just pass in the camera component here. I wonder. I'm not sure about that. Or we could just provide the viewport. That might be better. Maybe we'll do that. Const pixel rect viewport. Let's do that. Yeah, so I'm working on this game. Like, this is a huge game. We have over 10,000 lines of code already, and it's a custom engine. Not exactly the best place to jump off into if you're doing code. But if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. But yeah, this is a much more involved project. It's going to be a multi-year project, and we'll end up having, I'm sure, well over 100,000 lines of code by the time I'm done. Okay, so we'll pass in the viewport instead. I think that's nicer. I mean, that's all we really need. And yeah, we'll just say world get world camera component. You know what? Oh, whoops, right. Camera component viewport. Yeah. Okay. So let's finish replacing these. View is like the exact same deal, huh? Dang. Oh, this, I think. Wait, where? I believe we just call view render. Yeah. So we'll just pass in the viewport here as well. Ew, don't tell me that I'm gonna have to change like 20 different draw functions now. Well, that's more than my programs containing 5 to 6 lines. Yeah, it's a little bit more, I guess. I mean, it's, in some ways it's the same. It's just more of the same, right? Like, you just keep adding on to it. Okay, so this is our viewport. Same with here, viewport. But I believe we have a draw function. Okay, nice. We don't have to worry about that. Cool. So we have this specialized draw function call for view, which will take the viewport. So I think that's good. We're actually almost done with all of these. Here's another place where we had the viewport, but we're actually going to get rid of the viewport, and we can get rid of that to do. I think it's properly handling it. So that's awesome. Same with the lighting. The lighting viewport. I guess this needs to be world get world camera component viewport. Okay. And we need to say that it reads the world. Camera component. Okay, let's see if this is compiling. Think we're pretty much done replacing all of those. The one that remains is dialog.cpp. The problem with this is that this is being called like elsewhere, and we don't have access to the viewport or the camera or the world. So I need to like change this. All of this is really doing, why it needs the viewport, is it wants to try to keep the, it actually doesn't want the viewport exactly. It wants the render size because it wants to keep the windows within the UI. And so probably what we would want to do is get rid of this entirely. And instead of having it set the dialogues here or the position to make sure it's all within the view, we would want to just do that inside of UI Manager where, you know, maybe in the update function after it's been updated, you know, right here, probably we could just say, hey, if the view, stop. If the view get size or whatever, what is this? Set position. Yeah, oh, it has the area. I wonder if we expose the area. Get area, yeah. Get true area. I don't know which one we would want exactly, but it'd be something like this. I think it's just get area and say, hey, if this is outside of the we don't have the renderer here. Boo. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what we want to do with that yet. We have the renderer here. I guess we could do it here. Does it say, hey, if it's visible, let's make sure it's within the bounds of the screen? So this is actually a good point now that I think about it, is that we don't want the UI to be within the viewport of the camera. That's actually a really good point. Like, if we move our camera, we don't want a UI to like go off screen, which is what will happen now. I will have to fix that. Okay. Well, we have a few other places that we need to fix, so let's do that. So that's an entity layers. We got those fixed. Here's another place, an edit label. What happened here? Pushback. I must have accidentally changed this. Let's get rid of that change. Right. Oh, wait. No, I see. Never mind. Wait. What's the error? Oh, it's a conversion from size T to const. Oh, that's just a warning, right? Well, let's fix that though. So I think it's this right here. Um, right. From size T to int. Oh. Oh, yes. Oh, I see. It's that this result is an int32T. Yeah. Got it. like I missed one here. Oh, I see. Draw entities, yes. We should get rid of that too. And this is a const pixel ref viewport. Same with this. Do I use this outside of this here? No, let's get rid of that. Keep this a little simpler. There we go. Don't need to expose in the header if we're only using in the source file. Okay. So I think we're getting close to having that working. And so whenever we do get this working properly, what we'll see is it's actually drawing the full screen worth of stuff instead of just the like 800 by 600, which I had hard coded in. So it's 1024 by 768 at the moment. Hey, see? Whee! It's the full screen. Excellent. So now the next step is to get it so that we can move our UI. Oh, sorry, not our UI. Our camera. I was thinking about the UI and how it's all going to... It's a little weird at the moment. It's funny. Well, it's going to be weird whenever we start moving things around. All right, cool. So this is actually going to be really easy to do at the moment. Like just to hack it in. What I'm thinking we'll do is something like this. What if we... Let's take a look at this. Where's our arrows? Right, left, down, up. Nice. So we'll do it like this. We'll say if it's greater than or equal to this. Well, actually, we'll just do it like this. Just the, like, quick and dirty way for now. We'll get the camera component. Oh, oops. This is get world, camera component, camera. And then we just want to say, hey, let's set the viewport X. So this is moving it to the right. I'm thinking if I just want to, like, maybe what we could just do is like add 5. And then for the left, we can just subtract 5. And then we'll just do more or less the same thing. We'll have up, which, well, actually, let's do down. And then this is up. So then we can just change the X value, Y. That's it. It's super hacky, but that should allow us to move the camera. It's not working. Looks like it should be. Looking to see if it's actually moving. Oh, look at that. We've moved it over. So it's now saying that the viewport is 460. But so it thinks that it has moved, but it's not actually. So there's something wrong in here, like well that sucks. There's something like very wrong. Probably dang, I'm afraid it might be in all of our rendering. Let's look at the tiled stuff to start with. Like, I'm afraid the problem is that when we are rendering this, we're not moving it over based off of the position. We have like this X and Y. I need to look at this. But first let me take a short break. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. A failed reality and Jacamus. What's up? Welcome. And Moonwalker. Hey guys, welcome. All right, so we are looking at this. I'm afraid that I have not done this right. Yeah, I think that how's this camera stuff going? That's okay. It's okay. But we have a problem here. Is that whenever I'm trying to render this stuff, like we get this viewport. So we know what should be on the screen, but we're not moving it according to the viewport. And so I think that's the problem, is that whenever we draw stuff, and this is something that yeah, I feel like there's a better way to go about doing it, but I'm not sure. You know, you have something that maybe it's slightly off screen and then you move the viewport, the camera, so that should be on screen. Really, like, what we need to be doing is saying that everything is moved based off of the viewport. So it goes to be on screen. So that means that the position of everything should be offset by the viewport. So if you move the viewport over 10, then that means you need to add 10, or you need to actually, I think it's subtract the viewport from the position, right? Yeah. And that would be here in the vertices. So this really should be like x minus the viewport dot, or I guess you could do it up here. This might be a better place to do it, is say, hey, we need to subtract the viewport dot x, viewport dot y. I think that's it for those. And then that will properly update that. We have the viewport stuff. I guess we would tell x, tell y. I don't know, where do we want to put this? Maybe it should be like right here. I think this is right. Comes after, oh no, before the view Z. Let's see if this works at all. I wonder if I'm doing this wrong though, and I should be handling it elsewhere, like within BGFX or something. We can tell it to move. Yeah, let's get rid of that for now. Oh, it is working, except that... Oh. So it is actually working, but our vertices are being pre-calculated. Right? So if we're using... How do I do that then? Is this your new game following Korea? Yeah, we're working on a new game. I mean, Korea's still kind of in development. Like, a new update will be out in a few weeks. But yes. Working on a new game as well. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm doing this wrong. Render.draw. This is the tile render group. Right. How do we handle that? Set the texture. I don't want to have to like go in and change the position. Just got a new laptop and man, I can't ever play Korea on another laptop now. Laptops. Not the best for gaming. Okay, so let me actually look at BGFX, like maybe camera or viewport or something like that. See if they have a... oh, okay, they actually have an example in BGFX. Let's see how they do it. Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Set view rect. Yeah, this would probably be it. Yeah, I was like, I have to be doing this wrong. This seems just not right at all. Okay. I think this is, wait, we want that. Okay. I think that was my problem. And so anywhere that we have this set view rect, I just need to make sure I'm passing in the viewport X and Y now. Viewport.x, viewport.y, and go. The gaming laptop, nice. I'm sure you're enjoying it. I mean, sometimes it makes sense. If you travel a lot or need to be portable, then laptops do make sense. Hey, it's moving. It's working. This definitely needs to be fixed. It seems like it's actually a little wrong. Yeah, and we don't let it go negative, it seems, which is probably fine. But hey, it's kind of working. The problem is that we don't actually move, I guess it's just the mouse clicking, right? We need to convert the mouse position from the camera viewport, which isn't hard to do. So if we get the mouse state, here we are. We set it up here. I should probably do, there's mouse position. Let's do mouse position and let's do camera mouse position. Which will be the mouse position minus the camera viewport position. I think that's right. Might have that flipped around. Handle event. That's for, so yeah, really we want camera. Where else do we have the mouse position? Here. Update. That would actually be the screen. So this is right. Yeah. And this is actually wrong, this UI. What we want it to be is a pixel rect of the render system, get size. I guess I'll just do it like this. Um, hey Alka, what's up? We're working on projectDIG. I think that's what you're looking for. You got yesterday, and you had 3 BSODs. Dang, that's not promising. Yeah, hopefully that's resolved with your Windows update. Okay, so what are we missing? So yeah, the UI manager shouldn't be affected by that. There's the where we are creating the water. Where is that at? The mouse down. Where's mouse button down? Position. Oh, there we are. Yeah. So this I'm going to just say is the mouse and the camera and mouse position. Okay, now let's try that. Still is off. I want to be adding to it, right? What is the camera position right now? I might have this off. Not sure about that. Let's do this. Let's add the camera. Camera viewport position. We'll see what that is. If this doesn't work. Does not look like it's working. What's the camera viewport right now? $110, $50. Oh, it should have been subtracting it, right? Yeah, I think the subtracting was right. Right? Maybe not. I feel like this is almost wrong. Like, if you think about it, feels kind of inverted. Do you have the camera and you move to the right, so we're adding the camera position? This is at 5, but it's basically like if you're adding 5 to it, is this right? I'm pressing to the right. So our camera viewport is 80 now. I think I need to invert that. I think that's part of the problem, is that this needs to be negative. Maybe they both need to be negative. Feels kind of weird, right? Okay, that is definitely not right. Okay, maybe not. Oh, whoops. I forgot to change this one. Huh. I'm thoroughly confused at the moment. Okay, let's undo that stuff. This doesn't look right. So what am I doing here? Do I need to be subtracting the mouse position from the viewport? Maybe that's what I need. That would give us a, that doesn't seem right. Okay, let me actually think about this. So if I move this over, this is 30. And so yeah, it does seem like I should just be subtracting that. Maybe I wasn't using that properly. Set the tile. Okay, where's the creating the water, the automata stuff? Oh yeah, okay, maybe I wasn't using this. Okay, so this needs to be camera mouse position. Mouse camera position? Wait, what was it called? Oh, okay, I see what's going on. That is within this. Okay, so how about get state? What we could do for right now is just say update this. Whenever our Celestial mouse move. Mouse motion. One of our mouse moves, we will just update the current state of, or the current mouse position, and also move the camera mouse position. I think that should be fine. So then we can actually say camera mouse position for the liquid, convert it to a tile position. Hey, it's working. Nice. So we can actually move this around. And properly update that stuff. So here's a question. Why can't I go negative? So this seems weird, is like, if I wanted to go over here, why can't I look at that? So that's just a pixel rect. It's not signed. I was like thinking maybe something is signed. It's not. Maybe in here it is. Set view rect. Yeah, I see. So this takes, yeah, doesn't this seem almost opposite of what we want? So we have this, but let's say that we wanted to see what's like over here. I do feel like it needs to almost be inverted. Also, another weird thing is that this set view rect is limited to, it's UNT 16. I feel like maybe I'm doing this wrong still. BX new camera. Wait, what's S camera? Oh, it's this thing. Look at. Oh, I see. Maybe that's what we want to be doing. So I am not good with this type of thing. I see. Look at. We do that. Here's our view. Set view transform. Do we want to be doing this more? Wait, do we do it up here? What's our view? Oh, we just use an identity for the view transform. Okay, I think I am understanding a bit better here of what's going on. And that is, view I at. Yeah, this is what really should be changing. Like if we wanted to zoom in or out, I think we would just change the Z on the I, right? Yeah, that's what they do here. They move the I. Wait, they always change the I. And then they say that the at. I don't get that. What it's looking at. But this is for 3D. Andrew probably would know exactly how to do this. I mean, we can play around with this. We'll start with the, oh wait, actually, let's do this. Let's grab this, right? And then that's the view instead of identity matrix. I think we still want the identity matrix, but we want to be using the view here instead. And then this is where I'm not really sure. So I think that this should maybe be 0, the view rect stuff. And then it's over here is where we want to change it to be like, maybe this is the viewport.x and viewport.y. This is where I don't know if it's like, if it's the at or the I, or maybe we want it. So I think what makes the most sense is to have it be both. So one problem is that this viewport is a pixel rect, and so we need to change this to be like cast these to floats, unfortunately. Yeah. I feel like it makes sense that the at and the I stay in line with one another, so that way it doesn't like we always want it to be looking straight down. No, this orthogonal viewport. I don't know. I am not great with rendering graphics programming. It does seem like it makes sense to me. Let's recompile and see how it looks. Because if we only move like what we're looking at, then our eye, that's the position, our eye is the position where we are at, the camera like point, and then the at is what we're looking at. And so, hey, it looks like that's working. Kind of, at least. So don't mind the text because that's wrong. But yeah, if I move over, this actually is looking much better. Just ignore the text. Ignore the text. And now I think we need to, okay, this is looking actually a lot better. So for the render system now, I think we want to go down to where, well, we have the at and the I. We're actually calculating this now. So that means that down here in our text, all of this code is kind of a mess and I need to change it at some point. But we can just get rid of that. And this will use the view that we're setting up properly. I don't even know if we need to do all of this now. This needs to be 0. And then in here, the camera position, I think this is now needing to be added instead. Hey, look at that. We got it working. So now we can like watch it falling down. Huh. It seems like it's cutting it off or something. How far does it go? But we can actually like draw on here. Maybe I should make it so if you're holding down shift, it moves it by like 50. Let's do that really quick so we can like quickly jump around stuff. Where's that? Here we go, get mod state. So we'll just say get the mod state. 50, let's control. Control is fine, whatever. Otherwise 5. And then we'll just change these. This is Y, and this is Y minus. So I can hold down control, quickly jump around. Actually, let's go back. So it looks like there's like the camera stuff is a little off. Or like how it's calculating. I think it's, see, like it's not rendering that until we get over. It's, we need to have it, so whenever we're calculating the segments, it adds 1. But yeah, so we can like, oh, I was wanting to quickly move around, huh? Yeah, we can see that's happening there too. So yeah, we can like move around and we can see, hey, it's actually like, we have a basic little camera now. We definitely need to do a lot more with it. If I can like make this, put some water in here, and then we can move up. We can see that it's getting cut off. But yeah, so we can now move it down and see it again. Yeah, like I said, it's getting cut off right now, but this is awesome. Good progress. Let's fix this segment thing. That's just like a off by 1. Well, basically we need to be rounding up. So that's in places like this, where we are calculating what we can currently see. And we have this like ceiling F. I think we just need to say +1. This is a little tricky because sometimes it's exactly right. I don't know, like I think the safe way to do it, safe way, is to segment. Wait, what's this? Segment viewport width. is the viewport width divided by, that's how many things are on screen. Yes. I think it's just that. And then also if we go over to like our lighting, that also needs this exact same thing. I think we might want to make this be a little bit smarter. Yeah, this is all like the exact same code. I should probably refactor this into a single function. Yeah, we'll do that. We should do that. Just like get what is that? Get segment viewports. Get segments and get segment. I don't know. Get segment viewport, something like that. So hey, now we can actually see them on screen. That's awesome. We can watch them fall. Whee! And it will hit the bottom of the world at some point. That is a thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, don't mind that stuff. This is the bottom of the world. And is this spreading out? And then we can, whoops, I meant to, what was it? Yeah. Place blocks. And so we can actually see them at the edge, which is right. If we restart and we don't get rid of the lighting, we'll see, oh, look at that. It still actually is cutting it off. I thought lighting.cpp. Oh, no. I only changed one thing. Yeah. Yeah, we need to make that be just a function. This like get the segment viewport rect. Okay, now it's in darkness. Very cool. Eee. Okay, just for fun, let's try this. Dang. That's not gonna really work, huh? Well, we can make it work. What we're going to do, else if event dot, here it is. We're going to make it so if we're holding down shift or control, and actually we should probably do this first. If the event type is equal to SDL mouse wheel, mouse wheel flipped. I don't know. Basically, I want to be able to zoom in and out if you hold down control and you move the mouse wheel. Hey, Dalek, welcome. So the problem with that is we actually don't have on the camera right now, and so I need to go do that, go to world component, go to our camera component here. Let's just do let's make it be a float zoom. And set it to 1 by default. And then here, what we'll do is we will, I actually don't know how to use this event. Event, wheel, there we go. I don't know what that is. Maybe we'll get rid of this control thing for now. We'll just say if you use the mouse wheel at all, then it zooms in and out. So then we have the direction. Set to one of the defines. I don't know. I think we can just use X. I don't know what X is going to be. We'll have to take a look at that. It's an N32. Actually, we want Y, right? The thing is, I don't know, is this like 1 or is it 20? I don't know. What if we do this? What if we say, here we go. So I think this will just be, hey, if the Y value moved at all, or actually, wait, we'll do it this way. We'll say if Y is greater than 0, then we will move the camera zoom. We'll just increase it by 0.05. Else if the event wheel Y is less than 0, then we will subtract 5. We might be able to use the direction for that. I'm not sure. So we have the zoom now. What we need to do is go to the render system and up here, this is the at and the I. I am not sure about this actually. It might be that. So the thing is that if something is really close, wouldn't we be ending up like removing it? So we're going down into it. I'm not sure. This might actually just be wrong. Looking at 0. I don't know. Maybe we'll say 1F minus the camera zoom. This might be very, very wrong. Unfortunately, now we don't have the zoom. Super annoying. I don't know. We don't have a camera. Okay, I don't know what to do with this. I think I'll ask Andrew about that because I'm probably going to fail all over the place with that. But I think we're like pretty much done with our camera. That was, I think, it really. I just wanted to get so we can move around within this world. Because now what we can do is like attach it to an entity, right? Like one thing we could do if we wanted to is say, no, attaching it to, that would not work well. Yeah, if we want to attach it to an entity, we'd just have some system that is looking or syncing up the camera position to the entity position, right? Maybe we'd want it to be centered, so we'd offset by the viewport x and y, I mean width and height by half or whatever. But yeah, so this is working. We don't have the zooming right now. I don't know how best to do that, and also zooming in and out would probably be kind of weird. Well, we could, I guess, try just like not actually supporting the zooming, but what if we just said like, oh, this is 0.5? What does that look like? It might be that this is very wrong. Maybe it's our orthogonal. There's the near and the far. Does that have to change as well? This does look like it's zoomed, right? I guess that's one problem with this, is that maybe I should take a screenshot. I can't actually change the number. I don't know if we're actually zoomed at all. Might be that the eye needs to change. Let's put that at like -5. Maybe we'll leave that at 0. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here, to be honest. I think that we need to look into it. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's gonna be it for the camera for now. It's just like a quick little thing for today. So tomorrow, I hope tomorrow, we will start working on the physics. And yeah, we're actually getting close to where we can start doing gameplay stuff. So we're gonna say that the camera is done for now. You know, I just want to get this like basic thing. So like we updated a lot of stuff in here, but it's all just like, you know, passing around the viewport and whatnot. So I think we can just commit all of this. Camera support. And yeah, and so tomorrow we can start working on the physics. And after that, you know, we can actually like, once we have physics in, we can say, hey, move an entity, move an entity and have physics being applied to them, and have the camera following that entity, and hey, suddenly now we have a character that we can control. And so yeah, we can start working on gameplay before too long. I think there's going to be a few more things that we'll want to do before we really start doing gameplay stuff, but we're getting close. We are getting close. So awesome. I'm gonna call it a stream there. I need to do a bunch of research for the physics stuff. I honestly don't know what I want to do with it or how we should go about doing it, and yeah. So I have not done research on that. So I need to do that, and I'm also gonna go help with the little ones. So thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. We got our recaps done. We did our camera stuff. Short stream, but productive. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it, and I'll hopefully be back tomorrow and we'll be working on the physics. So have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys around. Take care.